Hi, everyone, and happy Saturday. And I'm sure some of you out there are thinking, really, Levin? That's the adjective you're choosing today, happy? And I'm going to say yes, because we choose to be happy. And today's segment is all about health and well-being. And in order to have health and well-being, you have to be vibrating. Your vibration of who you are has to be happy. It has to be uplifting. It has to be connecting with love and joy and bliss, because that's where health and healing lives. Health and healing doesn't allow us to have healing and health if we are constantly in gloom and scarcity and fear and overwhelm. That is not what is going to get us healthy, okay? And there's an energy and a vibration to us, and that's why every day we want to connect, we want to choose. I urge you, I beg you actually, to give yourself permission to feel happy, to feel healthy, to feel joyful, even in these dark times. Because what happens is you will have that, and then there will be an overflow of positivity. And that's where health can actually happen. And that is exactly why the person I'm bringing on today, Devon Levesque, that is why he's on as my first guest, because there are so many amazing, amazing, amazing trainers out there that I could have brought on. And at some point I will bring them on because they're awesome. But one of the main reasons why I wanted Devon here today is because of his energy. It isn't because of what he does as a trainer. And trust me, if you've been on his Instagram, you are very, very impressed by what he does. I mean, dang, this guy walks on his hands for like a half a mile in dirt. Like, he can jump onto like 6-foot boxes that you're thinking like, really? Humans should not be able to do that. The back flips, the front flips, just what he does is incredibly impressive. But that is not why I wanted him to be our first person on here talking about health and well-being in the physical realm. It's because Devon walks the walk. Devon walks the walk of, in order to be healthy, you have to be spiritually healthy, emotionally healthy, mentally healthy, and physically healthy. And yes, he probably had an advantage because in vitro with his mom, he started that. His mom was an amazing fitness person. His dad was a bodybuilder. His granddad was a bodybuilder. He grew up on a ranch where it was like up early with the sun, being physical all day, eating healthy, hydrating right. I mean, when I've spoken to him, he's like, oh, man, I never had PlayStation. Like, they put a trampoline in my backyard. And if I was a little bored, I went back there and just did acrobatics and did gymnastics, you know? So he's really, it's just been embedded. It's in his DNA from his lineage. So definitely for somebody so young, because he's in his 20s, and to be this evolved and this conscious, it doesn't happen. You know, yesterday I was on the phone with a girlfriend and a colleague, Anna Ackerman. I just love her. I want to shout her out because I always get really great pearls when I'm on with her. And she was talking about what makes an expert. We were having this conversation. I was talking about the people I was bringing on, and we were just talking about what makes an expert. And she said, you know, my husband had this conversation this morning with somebody about what makes an authoritative person. And there's 3 things. And man, this resonated with me big time. The first one is, we're going to use the metaphor of climbing Mount Everest. The first one is the person trains to do Mount Everest. They do Mount Everest. They finish it, and now they become a teacher of it. That's the first type of person. The second person is the one that goes out there and they interview hundreds of people on how you trained to do Mount Everest, how do you know, what your experience was. Every time you got to a different base, what were you feeling? What were your experiences? How did you overcome the challenges? Research, research, research. Definitely 10,000 hours in, for sure. The third person is the person that does the climb and does the research. And that's who Devon Levesque is. He's the combination of both. And that's why he's here today to bring us some really good, practical, sound advice on how to really have a healthy life when you're homebound. And most of you have seen him crushing it, because dang, he crushes it at the gym with his clients. But he said, this is not a time for crushing it. We're in a different time. We're in a different essence. Our bodies are required different things at this time. We don't even have the energy to rebuild back when we're crushing it. So now I want to bring on, I'm so excited. We would all be clapping. I'd say, come on, clap big, to bring on Devon Levesque. Let's welcome Devon.
Hello, thank you so much, Lavinia. That introduction was awesome. I really, really appreciate it.
And wait a minute, look how cute he is, people. Like, and he looks great.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate you bringing me on, and I think it's really important that, you know, we can give people as much information as possible while they're homebound. And you're right, you hit it right on the head. We have a new norm at hand, right? And so I think we need to introduce some different techniques and, you know, different things I'm doing and you're doing, and I think give people a little bit knowledge. And one of the things that I really wanted to harp on during this time is breath work and why it's so important. And as this is a conversation, you know, with our people, I figured it'd be a perfect time to collaborate my breath teacher and a woman I go to, and she is absolutely incredible. And you said some really kind things about me, how I'm positive. She is 10 times more positive than I am. And I'm super honored to even be able to work with her and get advice from her. And so I would love to bring on Renata over here. She's going to live stream in with us, and she's going to do some breath work with us.
Awesome. Great.
Hello.
Hello.
Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here. Hi, Lavinia. Hi, Devon. Hi, everyone. I love you all so much. I'm honored to be here today. And because you guys are going to be doing the talk, I just want to get us directly into action. And I want to say that these few exercises I will share with you, they are for your lungs, they are for your mind and your brain, and they are for your blood. So I don't want to expand too much on that. And actually, I want to share with you, I know there is a chapter in this book, it's called The Divine Doctor. It's only on breath. And it's called The Divine Doctor by Dr. Levesque. And if you want to read more about it and understand why it's so important, more than ever right now, to work our beautiful lungs, okay? So the first thing is just gonna sit whatever you are, on your chair, on your sofa, and try to keep your spine straight. And in NAM, we always try to keep a smile, yes, because positivity is good for the body. The body just loves when we're positive. So you can just rest your hands on your knees, keep your spine straight. So if you see if you're curving forward, just kind of like bring that energy that is like when a plant is sprouting, that is going up. And then close your eyes for a moment and just connect with your breath. Take a deep breath in here deeply. And then exhale. Now, we're going to take 3 deep breaths, 3 series of them, and it's called the inhale more. This is to expand your lungs. So your eyes are open and you're smiling, and then you start breathing, and I'm gonna just time us. Inhale, inhale, inhale more, inhale more. You're trying to bring the prana, the oxygen, in the upper part of your lungs. Inhale some more. Keep the smile on your face. Don't let the breath go. You're holding in and sipping more air in. Inhale more, inhale more, inhale more. A little more, a little more. Keep the smile. You're like lengthening the spine. Inhale more. See that you're bringing air all the way up in the clavicles. Keep your shoulders relaxed. Inhale more. Smile a little more. If you can, squeeze the pelvic floor. Inhale more. A little more, a little more. Even if you think, Renata, I can't do it anymore. Try it a little more. Try. A little more, a little more. And then out of your mouth, exhale, make noise. Yes. Could it be longer, Lavinia?
Yes, longer.
Yes. Longer.
More.
Okay. Okay, we have to remember there are people that are new, but you do what you can. If you need to exhale before we do, just do what's needed, because you have to always listen to your body tempo. But you need to do this every day, in the morning, in the night. You need to do a little bit of this just to check on your lungs. Okay, inhale deeply. Inhale more. Inhale more. Inhale more. Keep your spine straight. Inhale more. Inhale more. Inhale more. Keep sipping air. You're sipping in through your nostrils. Inhale more. A little more. A little more. Deep. Go more. Try harder. Try to bring it in here. You're like expanding your lungs. A little more. A little more. Drop your shoulders down. Inhale more. Keep that smile. Don't let your chin rise. Just keep it level. Inhale more. A little more. A little more. A little more. Hold the breath in you. Pull the pelvic floor in and up. Shoulders relaxed. And then out of your mouth, exhale, make noise. Woo! All right.
So good.
One last one. We get high on the breath. Inhale more. Inhale. So you see that you're creating more space. There is more space in the intercostal muscles and more space in your vertebrae. You're getting taller. Inhale more. You keep sipping air in, and in. Your mouth is closed and sealed so air doesn't escape. You pull the pelvic floor so energy doesn't leak. Inhale a little more. Inhale a little more. A little more. A little more. A little more. Keep lengthening. Drop the shoulders. If you feel your shoulders are rising, just drop them. You expand the lungs. Think in your healthy lungs. Inhale more. A little more. A little more. Now hold the breath. Your eyes are open. Pull the pelvic floor. Out of the mouth, exhale. Yes.
So good.
Good?
So good.
Oh, that is
So
so
good.
good. I love that.
Yes. Okay, rub your hands together. Okay, we're now going to do a pranic breath, is called. We're gonna do only one. Normally we do a series of them. We're gonna do for the chest. You're gonna, as you're rubbing, you pull the pelvic floor, you see that your hands should get a little warmer when you do this. You're gonna place the right hand on the chest, the left on top, and then keep your chest lifted. You're going to take breath in out of the nose, X out of your nose with the rhythm. So I'm gonna count for, it's gonna be inhale, exhale, inhale and exhale. But you don't just breathe like this. Can you see me breathe like this? No, they do like. I'm not raising my shoulders. I'm lifting. It's my chest that lifts with prana. Okay, so let's go. Yep. Your eyes are open because you're looking at the future. You're looking at your own future, full of joy, healthy. You're mentally stable because the mind always follows the breath. So as you breathe with a certain pattern, your mind starts to stabilize and everything stays calm, okay? So with a smile, picture the beautiful future when you're hugging your family and friends again. And let's go. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Keep going. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Deep breaths. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Inhale, exhale. Deepen your chest, exhale. Inhale, exhale. More. Deep and exhale. Deep and exhale. In and exhale. In and exhale. 10 seconds. In and exhale. Lift more. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Ekonkar Satnam. Ekonkar Satnam. Ekonkar Satnam. Ekonkar Satnam. Keep a smile. Ekonkar Satnam. Good job, La. Ekonkar Satnam. 5 seconds. Satnam. Ekonkar Satnam. Ekonkar Satnam. Ekonkar Satnam. Inhale deeply. Suspend the breath. Keep your shoulders relaxed. Now you can close your eyes, press your tongue on the upper palate, see your lungs expanding with health. Inhale some more, a little more. Do not let that breath go unless you're pregnant or you have a super high blood pressure. Otherwise, stay there. Pull the pelvic floor in and up. Keep a smile, shoulders drop. Inhale some more. Little sip more. Hold. Your tongue is pressing the upper palate. Your face is smiling because you're telling your body that everything is going to be okay. Everything is fine. You're holding. You're holding. You're holding. You're holding the breath in. You're holding. Raise your hands up and then shake and exhale.
Oh, that's amazing.
So good.
So the 1 minute breath, tonic breath, it just changes you very quickly. Now bring your hands in Diya Mudra like this. This mudra is a hand posture. So mudras are hand posture. There are thousands of them, and we can share more with you. But this one in particularly, I want to share with people because a lot of people are feeling fearful. So the hand posture in itself is to fight and combat fear. So you keep this, it's like, normally we do like this, we call don't shoot, I'm cute. We're doing with the Gya Mudra because you're trying to just combat fear, okay? And we're gonna take 4 breaths in through the nose and 1 out of the mouth. Now, when you exhale out of your mouth, don't do like a flaccid exhale. You're engaging your core to push all the carbon dioxide out of you. If you do like this, maybe you empty yourself like 50%. I want you to really engage, and then you feel like pressure, like a pressure cooker, letting all the carbon dioxide out of you, and then you purify. And then when you take the 4 breaths in, it's gonna be very rapidly like this. So the 4 segmented breaths in, it's very good for the brain, it's good for the lungs, and then it's good for your blood because it helps to purify. But if you just do like, you're not doing it. So I know, I'm sorry, I have just to be blunt with you.
I love it.
You can't do that, but it's not gonna
So
do
good.
it. You wanted to extract the best of prana. You know, like when there is amazing wines, amazing this, there's only few of them. For you to grab it, you have to go 4. Everything that is not serving you. You can take this breath into a more metaphysical way, that you're letting go your fears, your tension, your mentality of lack, anything that is not serving you to be the best you can be, you're letting go. So you're using the breath and you're combining with the positive mind, with the divine mind. Okay? So I'm gonna time us. We're gonna go for only 1 minute of this one. So take a deep breath in to start, just 1 breath. And then exhale. And then follow me. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Deep breaths. 1, 2, 3, 4. Very deep. 1, 2, 3, 4. Blow out of your mouth. 1, 2, 3, 4. Rhythm. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 30 seconds. 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Blow out of your mouth. 1, 2, 3, 4. Blow in, 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 in. Rhythm. 1, 2, 3, 4. Spine straight. 1, 2, 3, 4. Sa, ta, na, ma. Using sound vibration. 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale deeply, nose. Inhale some more. Roll your shoulders down, open the chest, like you feel that you're lifting your chest up. Keep the belly in, so you keep that pull going up. Close your eyes, press the tongue on the upper palate. You're holding your breath in for another 30 seconds. Keep a smile on your face. Think everything is gonna be fine. Everything is in divine order. All my needs are met. A few more seconds. Inhale a little more if you need. Nice smile, Devon. Nice smile, Lavinia. 5, 4, 3, to out of your mouth, exhale, make noise. Just pause for a second. Keep your palms above your knees. Just relax in there. Your spine straight. A gentle smile. And be grateful for this breath. Many people do not wake up today. They didn't have the breath of life. So while you're just absorbing, digesting what you just did, just feel gratitude. It's not like a light thing that you do it mechanically. You're thinking like, yes, I have 2 nostrils, I have 2 lungs. They're working in divine order for me so I can have life. Because in the beginning of everything is life. It's the breath that you take when you come out of the womb. Doesn't matter if it was a C-section or natural birth, everybody had to take that first breath. And then when we go, we give the last breath back to God. Okay, now last one, rub your hands together. And this one I have shared with you, Dr. Levy has shared with many people in his lives, and it's called the 3-point breath. This is one breath, anybody can do it anytime. Anytime can be done. I highly recommend for you to do at least 3 times a day, 3 minutes. It's just, you know, it's a little simple exercise. I'm asking you to rub your hands because we're going to place our hands in what is called the middle pillar, the tree of life mudra. So you need to feel your energy. So keep rubbing. And the breath consists in taking an inhale that is long. You're going to suspend the breath for the same amount of time, and you're going to exhale for the same amount of time. That's why it's called 3-point breath. Now, there are many ways of doing it. You can count to 10, you can count to 20, or you can use prayer or positive affirmation. The mind needs to be occupied with divine thoughts. So the way we do here, we use 3 qualities. They're divine qualities. They're the qualities of love, the qualities of peace, and the qualities of light. Place your hands in front of you. Do you feel energy between your hands? Mm-hmm. Yes? Oh, fantastic. So we're going to do this breath. And the way we're going to do it is going to be about 12 seconds. So I'm going to guide you. I'm going to play this song in the background that is praying. But I will keep guiding you. I'll say inhale, 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 inhale. Hold, 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 hold. Exhale, exhale, exhale. Now, on the very last exhale, when you're going down, just extend as much as you can. Most people make the mistake of doing like this. Then they're done and they want to inhale. So you don't want to do that. You want to do like, it's like I have a balloon and you're letting the air out very slowly, 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 slowly. So when I say inhale, you're going to gently start moving from the exhale into the inhale. And we're going to go for like 3 minutes of that, okay? So it's a couple of rounds. And then just as you're doing it, just keep bringing positivity into your mind. Like have a belief system that everything shall pass. So you need to work on your mind, you work on your breath, you're working on your body, all together as a whole, all right? Okay, so first start by exhaling. Let all the air out. Out, 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 out. All the air goes out. And then slowly gonna start inhaling, very slowly. Inhale, inhale. Just one breath, you're not segmenting the breath, it's just one long breath. Inhaling, inhaling, inhaling. Hold the breath with a smile. Relax your shoulders. Yes. Feel the energy between your hands. Start slow, exhale. Exhale.
Light of my left, light of my right, light above me, light beneath me, light in me.
Letting the air out. All out now. Slowly gonna start inhaling.
Love behind me.
Slow breath.
Love at my left. Love at my right. Love above me. Love below me. Love in me. Love in my surroundings.
Keeping air
Love
in.
to go. Love to the universe.
Hold the breath.
Peace before me.
Smile. Pull the pelvic floor in and up.
Peace at my right. Peace above me. Peace below me. Peace in me. Peace in my surroundings. Peace to all.
Start exhaling very slow and calmly. Calmly.
Light behind me. Light at my left.
Bring the qualities of love,
Light
peace,
above
and
me.
light into your life.
Light below me. Light in me. Light in my surroundings.
Be a metaphysician.
Light to the universe.
Slowly start inhaling.
Love before me. Love behind me.
Slow,
Love at my left.
peaceful breath in.
Love above me.
And your lungs.
Love in me. Love in my surroundings. love to all, love to the universe.
Hold the breath.
Peace before me.
Keep your spine straight. Pull down there. Pelvic floor lift.
Peace above me. Peace below me.
Smile.
Peace in me. Peace in my
Relax your
surroundings.
shoulders.
Peace to all. Peace to the universe.
Start exhaling.
Light before me.
Slow exhale.
Light at my left. Light at my right. Light above me. Light below me. Light in me. Light in my surroundings. Light to all. Light to the
Start
universe.
inhaling deeply.
Love before me. Love behind me. Love at my left. Love at my right.
The last one.
Love below me. Love in me. Love in my surroundings. Love to all. Love to the universe.
Hold the breath. Smile. Keep on like standing in your life. Life force.
Peace above me.
Healthy.
Peace below me. Peace in me. Peace in my surroundings.
Peace all around
Peace
you.
above me. Peace to the universe.
Slowly start
Light
exhaling.
before me. Light behind me.
Let light go out with your exhale. You're like showering the universe with your light.
Light in me. Light in my surroundings. Light to all. Light to the universe.
And inhale deeply. Raise your hands up. Raise, 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 raise. Inhale a little more. Stretch. And then exhale. Bust it out laughing. Oh!
No. Oh,
Even
it's
if
so
it's
good.
fake, it doesn't matter this the most important thing is that this is good for your immune system. So laughing is very, very good. Thank
Oh, it's
you,
so
thank
good.
you, thank you. If you need more
Thank you.
information, we're here to serve you. You have amazing people, Lavinia and Devon. They've been doing this breath. They know how to do it. I love you. Thank you, Lavinia, for giving me the chance. Thank you, Devon. I see you whenever we see you. Mwah.
Thank you so
A great
much.
talk.
Much love. Much
Thank
love.
you.
Much love. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Wow, I'm so happy you suggested that.
It's game changer. It's so incredible. How good do you feel right now?
I know. I mean, I had like a coughing fit. I was outside right before I came in, and I just think everything's pollinating. It's crazy. Stuff got in my throat, and I was like, oh my God, like right now I'm having a coughing fit. I have to go in there. And all of a sudden it was like the breathing, I could just feel it moving everything.
And when you rub your hands together, and then you really do feel, I mean, you feel something in between your hands, and you're just holding it there and breathing and expanding your lungs, and you feel all the blood rushing to your head, and you almost get like a high from it. And it resets everything. You stop thinking, because you're so focused on holding your breath and what she's saying, and that's somewhat difficult. And so you stop thinking about everything else, and you're actually adding positivity and breath to your brain as well. So oxygen to your brain. So it's so good.
So let's
So
get
good.
started. So what I was thinking is, just why don't you tell us, like, you get up in the morning, like today, you knew you were going to do this, like take me through what your rituals were to prepare, like how you start your day. Like, how does Devon start his day in the middle of this craziness?
Absolutely. So it's so nutty, and it's so crazy. And I think normally I would, get up early, and I would get changed and showered, and take my pre and probiotics. I'm big on pre and probiotics. A lot of people harp on probiotics, but they don't understand that prebiotics feed the probiotics. So you need to have those prebiotics. Some recent studies have come out about the gut health and how it's really, really important. But so I take those, and take my vitamins. I've been taking vitamins, by the way. You were talking about my childhood. My parents used a company called Shackley, which has some pretty good products. And I've been taking a handful of vitamins since I was a child, fish oil, everything you can imagine. I can just remember when I was a child, there'd be like 15 vitamins in my hand, and I would just take them and, eat raw food and whatnot. And it was so good. So I take my vitamins in the morning. And what I like to do, which I know it's somewhat opposite of you, but I like to drink 2 cold glasses of water. And I like to do that because it helps wake me up a little bit. And so right when I wake up, I take my vitamins, I take 2 glasses of water, it's nice and cold. And then I go and take a shower. And while I'm in the shower, I put the cold water on for about 30 seconds, and I just sit in cold water. And this helps just wake me up. And so I do that. And what I've been doing recently is putting oil on my hands, essential oil, and I rub my hands together, and I inhale it. So I like doing that. I put on, my face products and, lotions and whatnot. And I like to write things down and read the Bible. So writing things down is something that I've recently acquired into my life. And it's yeah. So I work with a performance coach. This guy, his name's John Martin, and he's really, really awesome. And another just positive person to have in my life. And, he, for every 6 weeks, he sends me new things to write about. So right now I'm on a kick where I write down one thing or person I'm grateful for. And I can extend it, or I can just write one thing. So if it's my mother, I can write mother, and then I can write why I'm grateful for her, right? Or if it's someone in my life, I'm grateful for something. And that just adds positively, because everyone has something you can be grateful for. And then I write down who I can either thank today or apologize to today, based on maybe I didn't respond to them, maybe a conversation in business didn't go correctly, or I hate burning bridges. So any confliction or anything I ever have, I never try to leave it bad. So I always look at who I can thank or apologize to for the day. So I write that down, and then I always write down, and this can be a repeat person, but who you love. So just someone you love, and you have to go tell them on that day that you love them. And so it's a simple text message, whether it's your best friend, whether it's a coworker, colleague, girlfriend, boyfriend, spouse, whatever it is. I think it's important to tell someone you love them. It adds just more positivity into the world. And when I wake up, I have this outlook on life that you have unconditional love to your children or to your dog or your animals. I think you have to have unconditional love to life, and it can't be temporary. It can't be this day I'm not going to do it, and that day I will. I think you have to always have unconditional love to life in general. And I think that has it helps me have a positive outlook. And then I like to read the Bible. That's what I do for religion. Everyone has their different religions and what their thoughts are, but I like to read the Bible. I'd like to read a couple verses. And
that when you read the Bible, it just grounds you. Like, what is the
you know what it is, and I don't think I've actually ever told anyone this. I think when I read the Bible, it somewhat puts something in my brain that is how life is going to go. So depending on the verse, I literally just open random page in the Bible and I read 2 pages, and I just think that based on what I read, and I've been doing this for 10 years, for sure, about 10 years. And based on what the Bible says, I just take that analogy and I put it into life. So if it's, something about positivity, I'm like, okay, I'm going to have a really positive day. And if it's something that happened negatively in the Bible, I'm like, okay, I might run into something today that is going to, maybe affect my mood or this. And so I go into the day knowing that there might be something wrong. And more times than not, for me, it's actually somewhat spot on. And it's just super random. And so I don't know if that's a higher, it's higher God from above saying something, or if it's just in my brain. So automatically my energy is attracting that certain scenario. But for me, that, I kind of know what the day is going to bring to me based on what I'm reading. And so that's kind of just what I do in the morning. And then, I take my dog out and feed her and whatnot. And the other thing I really try not to do, even though we're in these tier 1 cities. I know you live in Malibu and I'm in New York, New Jersey. I try not to look at my emails until after 9 a.m. And I think it just allows me to do what happened.
I'm saying, do you hear that, people? Because I hope that also means you're not looking at your Instagram, or you're not looking at
exactly
all the other stuff as well, because that stuff gets so consuming,
right.
And it's you're doing stuff that grounds you first. We could do that in different ways. Like today I thought I brought it with me. I do these oracle cards that I love. And today I do them every day, but today I asked the cards, like, what is something I need to bring forward for people? Like, my question was that. And I got the card that I got was Zen Garden. And the Zen garden, when you read about it, is all about purification and letting people understand that we have to purify our fears. So when I read it, and I'm like, oh my God, this is all about connecting to our fears and realizing that if we focus in on our heart and we just calm, like kind of like, that's why I love doing all the breath work, is it allows you to get in touch with your soul. Allow like that on some level, I'm sure that's what the Bible does for you. It just kind of grounds you down. You hear the words and you say, okay, like for me today, like I'm going to just focus on purification, purifying my thoughts. And especially in times like this, because our thoughts can go like this to a negative. If we're reading too much, if we're on the media too much, like, I mean, we have to have tips that shift us, that pivot us in the moment, more so than ever, on how to come out of that little funk. Because we could get in a funk, like we get on the phone with a friend, or you get on the phone with somebody and they're telling you all these horrific things that are happening and whose uncle's dying and whose mother and who's this, and you get off and you're like, oh my God, dang, like right now I'm just feeling it. So we have to have these moments that ground us and bring us back to like focus. Like I say, like we have to focus on here and now. You know, also for me, it's like focusing on things that put me in positive action. And that's what I would say that I heard from you is what the Bible does for you is that it puts you into positive action. It actually makes you aware, even if it's something that is negative. It's like, okay, I just have to be aware that I have to even keep my vibration higher today. Because when your vibration is high and you're at a high vibration, negativity doesn't meet that vibration. You know, so it's so amazing to say, okay, today I've got to really focus even more so, because I've got to keep my vibration high, keep my thoughts clean, keep my spirit like this, because there's a chance that there could be some negative energy around me, and like Lord knows I don't want that, you know. It's just, you know, it's that level of awareness and consciousness that we have that really is what makes life healthy, right? Like that's what health is that.
It's and it's really enjoying the process. And then and back to, you know, waking up, I think you made a good point of what I would do now in the morning compared to, you know, if this pandemic wasn't going on. And one thing I'm really doing is catching up on sleep, because right now you don't have to really get too dolled up in the morning. You don't, you know, you can kind of wear your sweats around the house.
That word, dolled up, I love that. That's such a Jersey word,
right?
Yeah, like I say that word to people in California, like, oh, I'm going to get dolled up, and they're like, dolled up, and I'm like, okay, Jersey. I love that.
Yeah, and you know, you don't have to, you know, worry about traveling into work or traveling where you have to go, and so you're giving back at least 2 hours in the morning, right? At least an hour and a half, 2 hours, and then in the evening from that travel time as well, when you get packed up for work and all that, that's another hour, 2 hours. So you're getting back like 4 hours a day. And when's the next time in our whole lives that we're going to be able to catch up on sleep and like you said, ground yourself and just feel good, and it calms the nerves, and you wake up, you're like, oh man, I just got an extra 2 hours of sleep. When's the last time you've done that? And now you can do it for 30 days in a row. So I'm trying to look at the positive in this whole scenario, and I think that's a big positive, catching up on your sleep. And sleep is so crucial for your body's recovery and your muscles and your mind, your brain. The way that you think and you go to sleep and then you wake up, those thoughts are different. You know, the term sleeping on something is so true, because the way that your mind is going all day, once you sleep and then rethink about yesterday, you're going to have a completely different outlook. You know, sometimes it's the same, but
it does rejuvenate you. But just to add on that is that, you know, a lot of people don't have good sleep hygiene, and they just don't know how to do it. Like there's more and more research that shows that, and even young people are having a hard time either falling asleep or staying asleep. And that's really because a lot of the rituals that they're doing before. So it's really, at a time like this, it's helping people create some good sleep hygiene, some good sleep rituals, some good sleep habits, so that you can actually take this time to teach yourself to be able to sleep. Like
Exactly.
I don't go on my phone, or on a computer at least 4 hours before I go to sleep. I know that sugar, caffeine, food, like I really try not to eat anything 4 hours before I go to sleep. Like I'm not that person. I can fall asleep, but I sometimes wake up. So I have to really like dot my I's and cross my T's in order to be able to have a really good sound sleep. So this is a perfect time to really work and develop those rituals and those habits, so that you can actually teach yourself again to be able to sleep, because
Exactly.
it's our
Yeah.
birth.
And you can use this time, exactly what you said. It there's different studies out there that, how long it takes to create a habit, but I would say on average it's around, 60 days, right? And you can really use this time, even if you want to wake up at the same time, you can go to sleep a little bit earlier. If you want to get into a routine of breath work and you've never done it before, this is a perfect time to learn. If you've wanted to learn something and you want something for you, not something for your work, something for your colleagues or boss or even your spouse, something that you really want to do, something that you want to do, this is a perfect time to transition your brain and your body into doing that and start getting in that rhythm, so you can take it and you're coming out of this whole pandemic. Because we're going to come out of it and everything is going to be totally fine. Promise you, everything's going to be positive. It's going to be good. Everyone's going to be back at it. And I think you can really use this time to create a new norm for yourself and come out of it an even better, more educated, stronger lungs person, than you did when you went into it.
Yeah,
And it starts with your morning routine.
yeah, I think you're right. Like you get up in the morning, like you have to be clear on what your intention is. Like that's why I love rituals, because rituals are something where it has an intention. So it's a lot of times it's the same thing that you always do, but when you put an intention to it, it has a whole different outcome, you know.
Hmm.
And I think also like hydration. I mean, how often do we see people that uh, really
I'm
don't exactly they don't
I'm
hydrate
drink
enough. Like, they really don't. Like you know, they they just don't put in their ounces a day, and it takes something. Like you have to build that. That doesn't just happen. Like you have to do it slow and steady. It isn't about like gulping it down and then not drinking water for 4 hours. No, like
right.
better off. Research is showing you're better off just sipping water, not just gulping down the water. Like it gets
Correct.
cells better. So it's like these are new habits. People have to become aware of that. It's a perfect time to start looking at those things that will ultimately make us stronger, make us healthier.
And I have to do a better job of not gulping, because I kind of have this um unwritten rule in my head. Anytime I see water, a water fountain, filtered water, whether it's at Performix house or at my house or wherever it is, I go to it. And if I make eye contact with water, it's like it's telling my brain that I need to hydrate. And so I just drink water, whether it's a sip, whether it's a gulp, whether it's a full water bottle. I just try to get as much water in my system as possible. And the days that I don't, I feel it. It's 100% big time difference the days that I don't hydrate as much. And you see it in your skin, you see it in your body, in your recovery process, you see it everywhere. So I think hydration is really, really key at this time. 10 glasses, 20, 30 glasses a day, as much as you can, And like you said, though, in regards to gulping, because people ask when they work out, how much water should I be drinking? That's super, super essential to sip water when you work out. You don't want to chug it. You're going to get sick. It's going to maybe cause you to, throw up or something. It's not good. So you definitely have to sip it when you work out.
Well, there's
Absolutely.
research that's shown that if you need water when you're working out, then you're already
Hmm.
hydrated, because if you've hydrated properly,
2 days prior. Yeah.
well, but started 2 days prior doing it properly. And so that means if you maintain that level of hydration all the time, you almost don't really need water when you're working out.
Exactly.
People don't know that, because then like I see people in spin classes or in spin class and they're gulping the water, and like, I don't want to judge, but like I'm sitting there thinking like, you have not been hydrated properly, because you should not need all that water. Like, so this is the time for people to understand, how powerful proper hydration is,
Big time.
because they shouldn't need water when they're working out. I mean, a couple little sips and maybe just because their mouth gets a little dry, but even with that, but let's get on to movement, because we really know the time when people need to move. And yes, we know that they not going to the gym, so they're not going to be crushing it in that way. And we also know that they have to keep their immune systems as strong as they can be in this time. And we know that when you're breaking it down, that takes a taxing on our immune system. So
For
why don't
sure.
you talk about, like, I know you were going to give us a demonstration of some.
Yeah, and I kind of absolutely. And I think everyone has their different goals. And so, if you're super, super tight and you've been working out, this is a time for your body to rest. If you're trying to develop a new routine, then you can get into a routine in your house and you don't need equipment. Just get in the mentality like, okay, I do 20 minutes of workout every day. If you're not sore, you can absolutely add it. And for people that ask, what do I do when I'm sore? Listen to your body. It's always best. Food, listen to your body. Working out, listen to your body. Hydration, listen to your body. Listen to your body as much as possible, because there's no coach, doctor, expert on earth that knows your body better than you. And so I think really with this time, we're going to go for two different types of people during this time. One person that's maybe tight and, they're the workout fanatics and they love it and they want to keep crushing it during the day. I think this is a time for you to rest. Do the opposite. This is a time for you to stretch. This is a time for you to get your breath work in. This is your time to recover. This is your time to hydrate. For the people that want to get into it, I think you can add some workouts to your house. And so we'll go over those. So I'm going to bring you guys right over here for you to see.
Close, so I'm going to work out with you.
Okay. I have Kona here too. Hi, Kona. This is Kona. And so there's a couple for mobility. We'll start with mobility at first. Oh, is she coming back?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, okay. So I think there's a couple things for mobility that are really, really important. One is your wrist. A lot of people have weak wrist. They can't do push-ups and it hurts, right? When people have babies and they have to start holding the babies, they get wrist injuries. So wrist mobility is really important. And so there's three different ones I want everyone to do. So basically you're on all fours like this, on your hands and knees. Your hands are about 6 inches away from your knees and you just pulse back and forth. And we do this about 20 times back and forth. And so we'll go about 10, because I don't want to take too much time up, but so we go back and forth like this. Keep your arms locked out. You can kind of gaze in front of you a little bit. How does it feel?
I feel it in my wrist. That's great.
Good. And then the other one is you just flip your hands right towards you. So your fingers are facing towards you. Again, 6 inches away. And now you lean back a little bit more and you start to feel it. All right. So you do this about 20 times as well. And I do this every single day. Now, the last one is a little tricky and it's a little bit more advanced, but basically you're going to lock your arms out, make sure your back is straight as well, right? You don't want to hunch your back. And you're going to start to push your wrist to the floor nice and lightly. Don't put too much pressure on, and you just lean back and you'll feel a different stretch. So those are 3 different ways to stretch out your wrist and create some strength. Now, the other one that's important is your ankles and working out bare feet. So there's one, it's called a cowboy stance. And my good friend, Dr. Craig, really emphasizes on this. And you just sit there like a cowboy would. And you want to make sure that you're stretching your toes out. We're not as nice to our feet as we should be. It's the base of our body. And we're not nice to it in the sense of we wear shoes and that's not good for it. you have a big rubber sole that's not allowing you to develop those muscles in your feet and in your legs and those tendons and ligaments and everything. And it's really important to work out and stretch your toes. And to even if you can, then you just sit here for about 30 seconds and then you go to the other side and stretch out your toes just like this. And you just chill there and you'll start to wake up your feet, your toes, all of the above. And so then the other one is ankle mobility. And you see a lot of ankle injuries and, people potentially twisting their ankles, unfortunately. And so 3 simple moves. And if you've never done this before, it might be a little tricky too. So you put your foot in the air and you don't want to drop your foot at all the whole time. And you go external rotations. I go 10. I go internal 10. And then I push out like a ballerina, just like this for 10. And you'll start to feel your whole legs start to burn up. And this is really, really good for ankle stability. You can do that for both legs. The last stretch that I want people to somewhat harp on is the scorpion. And I'll push this table over a little bit. I really love this one. And so basically you're on your face just like this, on your stomach, and you take your opposite leg and you come across, and then you go to the other side. And I like to go back and forth, back in 1 and then 2. I like to go to about 50 to 75, and you'll feel it in your back. You'll just feel a good stretch. And so those are 3 pretty good stretches for every part of your body. And of course we could sit here for hours and I can show you a ton of stretches. But those are 3 of my favorites. And then in regards to people that really want to, make a difference and they want to sweat and they want to feel really good. And I don't think it's necessary to go into a gym for an hour or 2 hours, for 2 hours, 3 hours, who has time for that, And so I think a good 20, 30 minute workout is really good. And the best one that I see at home that you can do that keeps you motivated is an EMOM, which is every minute on the minute. So you give yourself 3 exercises, whether it's push-ups, sit-ups, and let's say wall sprints, right? So wall sprint is you're just going against the wall like this and you're just sprinting and you give yourself reps. So if I was to do 5 push-ups, 10 sit-ups, and 20 wall sprints, and you try to do it under a minute, and in the time that you don't do it, you get to rest. And so I think at home, EMOMs are really a good way to keep you motivated and a good way to keep track, and you're not going to lose track of time, and you can get your sweat in and it pushes you without having a coach right next to you. And you're using, Father Time as your coach instead.
I love that.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. So
Also go into family fitness because we are all locked up right now, many of us that have families and have little kids, and some people are pulling their hair out. Yesterday I was on with 3 different women, and each one of them had to pivot to talk to their kid. And it was really funny because for almost every single one of them said the same thing, like, oh my God, all they want is sugar. I'm dealing with the sugar. The kids are home and they want sugar. So I definitely want to address that with you because I know that you didn't get a lot of sugar in your childhood, and nor did I.
For sure.
And then they were like, they just need more. They need more fitness. They need more exercise. They need to get out more. Plus these poor kids are like sitting in front of computers being homeschooled where they're not used to that. They're not used to being home like that. The parents certainly aren't used to them being home. So there's a lot of family time. So like, yes, we're bringing on your
come on, Serena. She's like, this is Serena. So for those who don't know, Serena is a K-6 health and gym teacher, and exactly what you just said. She is dealing with and gets to deal with all the children at home and give them activities to do and keep them active and happy. And she was actually Zoom calling with all of her students the other day, and I was watching, and they're so funny. I mean, these kindergarten kids have masks on and they're like falling over in their chairs. They're like, Miss Hitchens, oh my God, it's Miss Hitchens. And they're so cute. I think she has about 500 children that she overlooks over here in New Jersey, and they're super, super cute. So she's going to give you guys a couple for the parents at home, some tips and some fun games to do at home. And so do you want to start off with 100 seconds? And I'll send you these so you can, I'll send you the.
I showed them to our team and they love them. They're like, oh my God,
Good.
let's make these guides that we can have right on the Inside Out website, and then we'll be able to give these to people. And
We'll post them.
The last few days, I think we should definitely do a video of you talking about healthy snacks for
Oh,
kids.
I know. It is tough. It's so tough. And I give the parents so much credit for doing, a full-time job, homeschooling now. I mean, it's so important. And that's why, any activity that I give to my students, I always try to make it like fun because, they have to do math, they have to do reading, but you need that brain break, you need to get active and then you're so much more focused after. So my technique is I try and like get kids to do things that they don't even really realize that they're working out. So almost like a game since I have younger kids. So one of the
Here, put this one in because that's
okay, perfect.
take that one.
So these I do. He'll show you it right here. It's how many exercises can you do in 100 seconds. So basically what you do is you get your timer out, and you can do this like parents can do it with their kids, or kids could just do it by themselves. And for example, the first exercise is jumping jacks. So you'll put the timer on for about a minute, and the kids will try and do as many jumping jacks as they can. And they record that number down, and it could be a competition, like how many did their parents do as opposed to how many did they do. And I put it up over and over again because they always want to beat their score. You wouldn't believe how competitive kids can be when it's things like that. So it's just, and you can do as many exercises as you want.
I said they want to beat their brothers.
Oh, their brothers, their sisters, their parents. So it's like a fun little competitive thing, and you can do jumping jacks, sit-ups, push-ups, all of that type of stuff. So that's a fun little activity.
This is the second one.
Yeah, the second one. So this is for the really little kids. I don't think the big kids would appreciate this, but this is like a 7-minute HIIT workout, and it's called like animal workouts. So for example, you'll have your timer out again, 45 seconds. And the first one will be like, okay, first thing, act like a bear. And then they have to bear crawl around the house or outside, wherever they want to go. They're just, he plays this game. And they don't even realize it. Like
Saw this morning. I was like, okay, I'm going to do the animal thing right now. Like that was the one.
Right. I mean, and you wouldn't believe, like they really try, they get into it, and they're crawling like a bear, and like they're like get up, and they're like, wait a second, like my shoulders hurt. So there's bear exercises. You can do frog jumps, and it's like that's almost like a burpee, like adults doing a burpee is a frog jump, a star jump, a starfish jump. Yeah, like so like a frog jump, you stop down like that and go up like a frog, and then you got the star jumps like that, and then you have crab walks. So these kids, this is hilarious me doing it, but these kids absolutely love it, and they don't even realize at the time that they're working out. Like they're just having fun, acting silly, pretending to be animals. So they love that one. I have two more. So then we have another one. It's called Superhero Dice Fitness. So the reason why I like this one is because I just feel like having dice. Can you see it? Yeah. I feel like having dice, like gamifies it, right? So you can assign any workout for the numbers on the die. So for example, you might want 1 to be a push-up, or 2 to be a sit-up, 3 jumping jacks. And you roll the dice, you can play with a bunch of people, and whatever number it lands on, you have to do that workout for like 10 repetitions. And everybody takes turns, and you can write down like, the scores and whatnot, but
I'm a big fan of games. So.
Yeah, so that one's super fun, and it just
and
gives
I
them a break.
think you have them so we can like post them for the parents.
Yeah, absolutely. I've gotten really good feedbacks on the ones that I'm sharing with you guys, with parents, and and it gives the parents just time out of their day too, because you guys need it. You guys seriously need it. And then the last one, which I really love. So each month we do like a monthly bingo board, and So you can you can use the one that I have, or you can really make up your own. But this is like for healthy foods and all around wellness and working out. You want your child to do at least one thing on the board a day. So it could be, run for 20 minutes, or, eat a vegetable and a fruit today, or, don't eat your chips today. Like something, just giving them some tips each day. And normally by the end of the week, you normally get like a fitness bingo, right? Because it goes across the board for 5 days. And the way that I had my parents do it is, give your kid an incentive. That's the word. Incentive if they, fill out a bingo board. And it's just like, it's a little fun thing that they can do every day, like look forward to, it's just so healthy for them.
They can kind of knock them off.
Knock them off, yeah, as they go. And normally by the end of the week, they'll fill out a bingo, so it's really fun.
They're so great. They are so great.
Yeah, there's so many cute things.
Let's definitely put these out, because I think people need this right now. They are like, they're pulling their hair. Let's just talk just for a second a little bit about the food, especially for kids, because I used to have a rule. I used to think like, if I don't keep the sugar in the house, like there is no sugar in the house. But
right.
A lot of my friends thought that was a little too harsh, but it worked for me. Like I don't mind, I didn't mind being the person that, that my son was like, you're so mean. All the other kids have this in their house and that in their house. And it just like, he was on deaf ears about that. Like there were certain things that, whatever, even to the point, I remember having, Aunt Jemima pancakes. All his friends had Aunt Jemima pancakes. So I bought I bought the Aunt Jemima, and I threw the pancake mix out, or I gave it to someone. And I had my own pancake mix, which in those days had oats in it. And I made my own, gluten-free, healthy, no sugar. And I would make it and I would put it in the Aunt Jemima box. And Zach thought he was
smart, very smart.
Pancakes. And I did the same thing with syrup. Like I would buy the Aunt Jemima syrup, but I'd give the syrup away, and then I'd have his very healthy, green syrup that's low glycemic, and he would have it. And then I remember one day, I swear that box must have been like 4 years old. That box. So he's like, "Oh, Mom, we need more, pancake mix." I'm like, "Yes, I'll get it up." So I made it up, and then he sees the box, and he's like, now by this time he's probably like 10. He's like, "Mom, you got a new box, but it has the same tear on it."
Oh, he caught you. Oh, that's too funny.
And I'm caught. But like, I did that with all kinds of food. Like, I have to tell you, I was just the queen of like taking Oreos, and I would not give him the Oreos, and I would give him like the healthy version, the Paul Newman version, or somebody else's version, Sun Drops, which I think was even before Paul Newman. And I would let him have like one of those. And let me tell you, I hid them. Like to this day, if I have sweets in my house, you've got to get on a ladder to get them.
I was put in the same predicament when I was
brought up the same way.
So I grew up on a horse ranch, and we had cows and we had peacocks, and we had so many dogs and everything. I was just surrounded by so many animals. And one of our cows, her name was Coco, and she would produce about 8 gallons of milk a day. And so I was raised on like raw goat milk and raw cow milk my whole life. And I got to an age where I was like, I don't like the raw milk. I don't like, my mom would pasteurize it, and we'd go through the whole process. And I was like, I don't like that milk. I want the milk from the store. And so what she would do is she would fill up the milk cartons with our raw cow milk from the cow. And then I would drink. I was like, oh, it tastes so good. I love it. And she tells me now, she's like, yeah, I would switch it out.
That is too funny. That's smart.
Like I remember the first time my son went to a friend's house and he tasted a real Oreo. And he was like, "Mom, I had an Oreo at Charles's house today." I said, "Yeah." He goes, "Mom, those Oreos do not taste like our Oreos." And I'm like,
oh, that's so sad. That's funny.
Where we're getting our Oreos from, but like I'm like, oh my God, I keep getting caught. Like,
oh my gosh.
We just have to keep doing that. Like we just have to keep trying and not giving in, because like sugar really does. It's not good. There is nothing good in white refined sugar. Like I can't find one thing in it that's good. So like, we have to, like, even in these hard times, like, find things, find healthy things. There are some really good things out there, right, that are made with maple syrup, or they're made with coconut. I make some.
Coconut oil. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I think it's like, get into a habit of, she kind of looks at me funny sometimes because my mom comes over and she'll put like raw broccoli in my fridge, and I'm just like eating raw broccoli. And Serena's like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "I don't know. I just like it." And my friends are like, "Why do you have a whole bowl of raw broccoli?" And I'm just so accustomed to it. I just like, I don't know. I just like the taste of it. It just tastes good to me. And I think it's from being, brought up a certain way, of always active and all this like fresh food. And I think right now is a really good time to start getting accustomed. Look, not everyone's going to want to eat raw broccoli. I'm not telling everyone to eat raw broccoli, but get into more of a rhythm. And if you have more junk food in your fridge than fresh fruits and raw vegetables, then that's an issue right there. That's natural vitamins that you should just be implementing into your body, and it helps, especially in regards to allergies and avoiding diseases and avoiding getting sick and the flu. And I'm not a doctor on the virus, but there's no way it's going to hurt.
Right. And a big thing that I tell with parents too, when they ask for help, I'm like, if you don't have the foods in your house, they can't eat it. They can't eat it. You know what I'm saying? And, here and there, of course, I get it. I mean, I'm so big on everything in moderation. I personally love to eat healthy. Sometimes he looks at me weird too. Like, I think some of the organic brands that they have of like Chewy bars or, the Oreos, I think they taste delicious. You know what I mean? And if you start them at such a young age, like, you don't know how much it's going to benefit them in the long run. Like, Zach, right? Zach. Yeah, I mean, Zach was probably like, oh, at the time, but he's probably so thankful now because it's just such a healthy habit to get into. And my biggest thing I say is, if it's not in your cabinet, they can't eat it. It's the biggest thing.
I don't think I've ever really seen my kid eat a potato chip, even now.
Yeah, I don't like them either. I don't know.
That's not who he is. I mean, yeah, he'll have a burger, or I know, like, ice cream is probably the worst thing that he likes, and even now he's buying these protein ice creams. And, I just think we have to take time to be aware of that, because I do think, everybody's talking about the Corona 15, because
Right. Yeah.
put on the Corona 15. So what I would say, like, in closing, is like, you've got to have a plan. You have to have a food plan, even if you don't write it out, even though I think it's great to write it out, especially now when they're not suggesting that we go grocery shopping every single day. So, like, write out, I find for myself, when I write something down and I say, okay, everything, I write down when I'm doing my workout. I write down what food I'm eating. When I do that, this is when my meditation will be. Then I get it done. If it's
Right.
you get too loose, especially in times like this, before you know it, you haven't gotten anything done, and it's 4:00. So
Yep.
my thing to people is, make a plan every day. Sit there with it. Like, I even make what time I want to be upstairs in my bedroom by. It's
Right.
like I love Ozark. I love that TV show, but I have to see what my day is like the next day, because I know if I'm going to watch Ozark at night, then I'm going to have to sleep a little later in the morning, because I don't sleep well. That show definitely gets me revved up, and it's hard to fall asleep. So I look and see if I have something really early Wednesday morning. No. I'm going to watch The Voice, or, oh no, I'm going to watch something that will allow me to sleep, So we have to be mindful of those things, And even like before you go to sleep, I always tell people, I kind of joke, I say, don't let the last thing you touch before you go to sleep be your computer, be your phone. Like, make sure that it has a heartbeat, that it has a soul, because when you're going to sleep at night, you're preparing yourself to say, I'm honoring this time to go to sleep. And if you're like going to sleep and you're like checking your Instagram, like, that's the energy that you're going to sleep with, Even if you're going to sleep alone, like, touch your heart, touch yourself, just be like, connect with yourself, because that is what is going to bring you into your sleep, into
I
your
agree.
food, into the way you connect with life, the way you connect with people, you know?
I love
it.
that. I
love it.
absolutely love that.
Yeah, and I think, like you said, really writing things down and giving yourself a plan, whether it's short-term goals or long-term goals, is really, really essential. And find a rhythm, because every person has a different way of scheduling and getting their to-dos done. And I personally, I like to write things down. It just helps me remember. It's like, it's, you know, it might be really messy, but it works for me and it keeps me organized. And I like to do that before bed, put it on the kitchen counter. I wake up, I do my morning routine. I can see, okay, I wrote this last night. This is what I have to get done for the day. Then I won't forget things. I know exactly what I have to do. I have a plan of action for the day. And it just helps me take every single day and execute as much as possible, because I like going to bed knowing, wow, today was a successful day. I got everything I need to get done. That's such a good feeling than going to bed and be like, oh, man, I missed out on doing half the things on the list today because I got sidetracked. And so giving myself that schedule and giving myself those to-do lists, it dramatically helps.
And check them off when you finish. That's a big thing for me. I am a checker. Like, I love to see what I've accomplished. I love to see it as I go along. I guess you just like, it kind of keeps me going, you know. I just want to be like, okay, like I'm so close. I have 2 more things done, you know. So I feel like checking things off too is like a really big thing.
For sure.
Also, I think being realistic about what you put on the list.
Yeah, absolutely.
As far those of us that are A personalities, and I've been known to be that, like, I'm not going to sleep until every single thing is off my list.
Right.
You know, it's like, we have to know, like, what's the priority? Like, what today is a priority? What is, like, I have to get this done, or, you know, and then what can, like, go over to the next day? Because trust me, when you wake up in the morning, you have time to facilitate and do what you need to do. So I think be realistic, and, you know, maybe just to close, and I'm so grateful. This was amazing. All of your guys' knowledge, your wisdom, your energy, your generosity is so evident. I love this couple. It works.
Thank you.
Thanks
Seriously, so
for,
much.
Thanks. Like, it's really an honor to have us on, and, you know, to reach out. And when you called me about it, I was really, really stoked and happy. I was like, wow, like, this means a lot. And so I want to thank you.
Seriously, you are such a beautiful soul. I mean, just so relaxing. I remember when I first met you, I felt like, like so relaxed. It was just it's amazing. And I'm so honored that you let me come on. I really, really appreciate it.
All right, so just to finish, to talk to everybody out there, is a couple things I just want you to remember, is because we're going to have to constantly pivot, is where your energy goes is where your life flows. So just remember, when you're in those moments and you're in this moment of maybe hysteria or fear or whatever, come up with something, do something. Like, for me, sometimes I was going in between meetings last week where I was literally on the phone, and I knew I shouldn't have picked up that call, but it was a friend who I know was suffering. Called her, answered it, said, how are you? She gave me the quick tips of what was going on. I definitely felt heavy, but now I needed to pivot onto the phone with one of my sponsors. And I literally sat in my chair, because I had like 30 seconds, and I just literally clapped. And I clapped, and I did a little shaking, and to just get my vibration high, like, to get, I had 30 seconds. I didn't want to get on that phone and feel that energy of being like sad and heavy. So, like, have those tips, like, find things, like, you jump, bounce, whatever it's going to be.
Or your oils.
Yeah. Essential oils are amazing. I have songs that I have on that I just sing, you know, that are songs that make me feel good. So find what that is for you, that you can shift your energy, because again, where your energy goes is where your life will flow. So you want your vibration to be positive, to be filled with love, to be filled with positivity. Because at the end of this, I really believe it's the people that have stayed grounded and stayed positive, realistic. I'm not saying to be in denial of what's going on, no, but realistic and positive these are the ones that we're going to be able to pivot when we get out of here. We're going to be able to see the white space. We're not going to go back to the new normal, because trust me, there was a lot of things about that that didn't work. We're going to have a new level of consciousness, awareness, how to not only connect with ourselves and our soul and our heart, but then how to serve other people and be that person with love and generosity and compassion and joy, because that's really what it's about. Like the pearls of wisdom are, how do we take this time and grow and learn and connect and understand more about ourselves, more about life, more about connecting people and energies, and how we really participate in this thing. You know, I already have a bunch of list of things that I realize that I'm going to do differently once this is over, you know.
Big time.
And I think those are the things, like I just see things that are not as useful. Maybe I don't need to shop as much. Maybe I don't need as much material things. Like there are things that it's like, you know, it almost feels, it doesn't feel aligned with who I am today, because now we realize like life is so precious. This happened overnight. Like we were all celebrating Christmas and this and that. And then all of a sudden we're in this situation. And so I think for the most part, and we see like those of us that are going to really need to help. There's, you know, 6 million people that lost their jobs. You know, like we are really going to need to help people and figure out how to do things differently. That's actually sustainable, really sustainable in this new time. So again, it's energies like you, it's people like you, it's people that say yes and are generous and want to collaborate with other people. And it's an exciting time. I mean, truthfully, like I have butterflies in my stomach about how the world is going to be after this, because people are going to, I assert, people are going to be more conscious, more present, more appreciative, more in gratitude, just even for the simple thing of be able to hug someone, you know.
Yes.
So again, thank you so much. Thanks everybody.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Happy
Thank
Easter.
you, Michael. Happy
You
Easter.
too.
Happy
See
Easter.
you
Talk to you
later.
soon. Bye.